story of this sister from UK. The reason I want to talk about this is because this story is directly related with the end of time, because Rasulullah SAW said in a Sahih Hadith, in fact, this is reported in Sahih al-Bukhari, he said, وَسَدَ الْأَمْرُ إِلَى أَهْلِ غَيْرِهِ فَإِنْ تَظَرَتْ سَاعَةً. Narrated by Abu Huraira. What does it mean? Whenever you see authority is been given to people who do not deserve it, then فَإِن تَظَرَتْ, then wait, look out, see for the end of time. Subhanallah. How we define end of time, how we define these signs, how we define or how we come to this conclusion that this person, he has abused his power, his authority. Take a look at this particular incident of the Imam. Before I talk about the sister, I want to talk to you about the Imam, Mecca. He gave a sermon, he gave a speech, and he said, we should not be encouraging entertainment, movies, cinemas, music, like we are doing right now in Saudi Arabia. What happened to his fate? He is now being imprisoned. I think it is like 20 years. You can let me know in the comment section below for how many years he is being now imprisoned. The point here is that this Imam who was talking from the Quran, from the Sunnah, had to face this brutal punishment. His whole life is being ruined. So dear my sisters, we do see a clear sign of abusing of power. This is a clear abusing of power. Now, why they are not being held by anybody is because the West, being the hypocrite, they talk about human rights. They beat the drum of human freedom, freedom of speech. Oh yeah, this is what we need to do. We need to uphold human rights. The same West, same US, United States, Canada, all of these countries, they are now absolutely quiet, thunder quiet. I'm just kidding, thunder quiet, just made it up. But subhanallah, they are so silent. It's deafening. And people are saying, well, yeah, these countries don't talk, why should we? So there is a clear abuse of power. Now let's talk about this sister. This sister, she is from UK, looks like she studied at Leeds University. What she did is she tweeted something online and she replied to some of the comments on Twitter again. And so the Arabian authority, they said she was encouraging rebellion and also dissidents. She was emboldening them. She was telling them, yes, we need to destabilize the country of Saudi Arabia, the government. This is how Saudi Arabian authority, they have interpreted her reply, her comments, her account on Twitter. Do we see a clear abuse of power? Of course. Why this is happening over and over again with the Imam, with the sister, with so many, we do not even know their names. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are under this repression. Now, going back to the hadith, Rasulullah SAW, he said, وَسَدَ الْأَمْرُ إِلَى غَيْرِ أَهْلِهِ. Remember I told you, فَإِن تَظَرَتْ Sa'ata. Rasulullah said, when you see these things are happening, remember that is the time when you wait for the hour. So when I say this sister is facing this is her story, or when I point out the Imam, what happened to him, all of these things, I am referring to the hadith of Rasulullah, what he said, and reminding you, dear my sisters, that indeed it is the time that we need to wait for the hour, because authority, power are being abused, and there is no one who can control this. Why? Because they believe, they have this pride and arrogance that they are, as Pharaoh said, Ana Rabbukumul A'la, I am your Lord, the Most High. Wallahi, this is what they believe in their hearts. They do not have to say it with their word. We do not have to listen to it in our ears. We know it from the past history of tyrants like Pharaoh. that Quran mentioned, that Quran told us that you will go through this kind of phases in history where you will see tyrants. And wallahi, like some brothers, I do not want to go to that far. Some brothers, they say, these rulers, MBS, and these people are Yahudi. The Yahudi, they put them in that position. Allahu alam, but I'm not going to be making any comment. But what I want to say is that we as Muslim Ummah, we do have a responsibility to talk about these signs of the hour so that we know the gravity of the situation, because it is easy to scroll through your Facebook feeds without paying any attention to these small, you think small stories. But remember, Allah Azza wa Jal, He destroyed an entire nation simply because they have tormented the Muslims. And Allah Azza wa Jal quoted in the Quran saying that the punishment is so great for those who will harm a believer. So I'm not, subhanAllah, going into those verses right now, but definitely this is something that Allah Azza wa Jal Himself talked about in the Quran, and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he mentioned in the hadith very clearly that when you see this kind of abuse of power, then wait for the hour. Are we going to be the people of end of time? Because if we are the people of end of time, then remember, we are one of the worst of people. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in a hadith that man tudrikumus sa'a, when the sa'a will be coming, min shirari nas, they will be the worst of people. Your heart is dead when you refuse to look at this oppression, any kind of oppression, the Palestine issue, Iraq issue, whatever it is. When you close your eyes, your ears, your akal, then remember, you are those people who Rasulullah, he said, min shirari nas, you are the worst of the worst. And this is why you are living at the end of time, because the end of time, the QIYAMAH, will fall on all the devils, all the evil people will be alive. And I mentioned in another hadith, Rasulullah said, when the QIYAMAH will take place, nobody will take the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. So what is happening with us? We are subhanAllah, a lot of us are going to the masjid, but is there iman in our heart? That's the question I want to ask to myself, and I want you to also think about this. We need to, dear brothers and sisters, talk about these issues, the sign of the alamat of the end of time, so that inshallah we are not being deceived by the biggest deceiver, shaitan, and also Ad-Dajjal, Masih Ad-Dajjal. Leave a comment, inshallah. If you have any comment, I will respond back to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.